This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, good morning, everybody. Is my voice audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So we'll continue today with the rest of the things. We'll have a small recap. We are looking at acid and then salicylic acid and then strong alkalis. Examples are sodium hydroxide, potassium hydroxide, and then ammonium hydroxide. And then we have metallic salts such as bichromates, chromates, copper sulfate, ferric chloride, potassium cyanide, silver nitrate, and zinc chloride. So corrosives broadly classified into strong acids, strong alkalis, and metallic salts. Strong acids, we have inorganic and organic. And then we have seen about inorganic, we are seeing about inorganic, and we have seen in the previous class about sulfuric acid. And then we have also known what is the basic uses of these corrosives. Corrosives, other name is also known as caustics. And then the hydrochloric acid we know is normal toilet acid. So it is used for cleaning toilet and then bowel cleaner. And nitric acid, it is used in fertilizers and manufacturing of explosives. And then it is used in extraction of gold. Sulfuric acid, it is used in car batteries. Very coagulation type of necrosis. And then alkalis causes liquefaction type of necrosis. That's why if you ask a question between acids and alkalis, which is more dangerous or which is more devastating, means it is the alkalis which is more dangerous than the acids because of this necrosis. Alkalis produce liquefaction necrosis, thereby it will dissolve the protein, it will dissolve the collagen, and then there is fat saponification. Because of dissolution of these proteins and collagen, it will going on dissolving the further layer. So the if you say, for example, if a person has taken the alkali in the stomach, it will cause the superficial layers dissolution, and then it will go into the deeper muscle layer, and it will go into serosal layer, and then there can be perforation. Whereas in case of acids, because of the coagulation necrosis, it will cause an HR formation, a thick HR formation, where a thick fibrous tissue is formed, a layer of fibrous tissue is formed whenever an acid reacts with the rampant in case of alkalis. So signs and symptoms we have seen about the GAT, there is intense thirst, difficulty in swallowing, there is continuous retching, and then vomiting can be there. And we have seen about respiratory symptoms. There is a difficulty in breathing. Dyspnea can be there. There can be edema of the glottis. And then systemic symptoms, there can be shock with cold, clammy skin. And then we can know the death is due to either due to respiratory arrest because of the suffocation from edema of the glottis, or from immediate shock, or it can be also due to perforation of the stomach. And if the death is delayed beyond 24 hours, then the cause can be due to pneumonia. And then if it is still further delayed for about 48 to 1 week, then the death can be due to the after effects of the acid, like strictures of the esophagus or laryngeal strictures. So these are some of the pictures you can see. These are all acid burns seen around the mouth, and then there is spillage on the neck and then the upper part of the chest. You can see surrounding the mouth, nose. So these are all the acid burns, and then next. If the airway is problem, then you have to give an intubation, or you can do a tracheostomy. If circulation is a problem, you have to give IV fluids. So all these things, normal maintaining the stability of the patient is very important. And the main important part is we cannot do gastric lavage because it will cause pneumonitis. Pneumonitis, it can cause further damage because you're pulling the acids again back through the esophagus. So it can again injure the esophagus, it can injure the mouth, it can injure, sometimes aspiration can take, it can injure the trachea also. So because you are double injuring the tissues, so gastric lavage is contraindicated. And then we can do this endoscopy to know whether degree of burns and to know whether there is any perforations or not. So these are the some of the things, and the medical legal importance is vitriolage. Vitriolage is a short notes. Vitriolage, we have seen, it is a throwing of corrosives on another individual because of some jealousy. Why do you want to throw the acid on the face of the other? Is because of the jealousy or hatred, and then you want to sulfuric acid is oil of vitriol. So that's why it is called vitriolage. So the name is derived from that, vitriolage. And then this throwing of acid on the face or the body is a serious crime in India, and then it is a grievous injury. We have seen what are the punishments given to what to do. Suppose if anybody has this one is thorough clean with water. Main thing is you have to irrigate the eyes with water, you have to irrigate the body, you have to remove the clothes, thoroughly irrigate with water, and then you can apply some paste, magnesium oxide paste, an antibiotic on the area of the burns. And then if eyes are involved, then you can wash thoroughly with the same. So main thing is in acid is thorough washing with water, thorough washing. So you have to continuously irrigate the area till no minimum amount of acid remains on the body. And then you will apply some soothing agent like magnesium oxide, and then for eyes you will apply sodium bicarbonate. 1% solution will irrigate, and then for soothing we'll have olive oil installed along with the antibiotics can be there. And then what is the punishment for this vitriol? It has been asked many times in the examination. So today we'll look into carbolic acid, which is the organic acid. So sulfuric acid, hydrochloric acid, nitric acid are inorganic acids. And then we have organic acids, carbolic acid, acetic acid, salicylic acid. So we will look into carbolic acid, and then we will also look into oxalic acid, a few points, and then we'll close this corrosive poisons. So carbolic acid, otherwise known as phenol. So carbolic acid is nothing but phenol. We know that in hospitals, normally it is called hospital smell. Normally, if a person enters, there will be some kind of smell in hospitals due to this phenol, due to this carbolic acid, which is used for cleaning the floors. It is otherwise called as hydroxybenzene, and then it has a sweetish burning taste and phenolic smell. What are the uses of this carbolic acid? It is used as an antiseptic, which is commonly used as a Dettol. You can know. It is also used as a disinfectant. So it is an antiseptic. Sterilized in OT by uh, carbolic acid. And of course, the main sterilization is by through autoclave method. But reusable procedures can be sterilized with this carbolic acid. Household phenol contains 5% of the phenol in water, and then carbolic acid is also used in pharmaceuticals, in preparation of medicines, and then in manufacture of plastics, and it is used as a face peel in plastic surgeries. So it has a role in plastic surgery. In medicine, it has a role in medications. It has a role in manufacture of the plastics, and it has a major role as an antiseptic and disinfectant. So what are the signs of symptoms? So carbolic acid poisoning is known as carbolism. And what is the fatal dose? It is for, so by the way, what is the fatal dose of sulfuric acid? So fatal dose of the sulfuric acid is about 10 to 15 ml. And fatal period of sulfuric acid is 12 to 24 hours. So within 1 day. So fatal period and fatal dose. These two are very important in any poisoning cases. So in poisoning, whatever from now onwards, you will be reading or you will be knowing different aspects of poisoning and different types of poisoning. In any fatal dose, fatal period, and then what is the mechanism of action, and then what is the treatment aspect, and then if the person succumbs to this poison, what are the medical legal importance or autopsy findings. So these are the 7 side headings under which you have to study any poisoning, no matter it is sulfuric acid or oxalic acid, whatever it is. So any poisoning, even agricultural, whatever poison it is, if you can study in this pattern, then it will be very easy. So you have to know the nature, the classification, the mechanism of action of that poison, and then you have to know what is the fatal dose, what is the fatal period, and what are the signs and symptoms if taken, and then what is the treatment aspect of that poisoning, and then if the patient succumbs, what are the autopsy findings, and then finally the medical legal importance, of that poisoning. So if you can read in this way, then it will be very useful study for your understanding. So in carbolic acid, the fatal dose is 40 to 50 drops. So we know how many drops fatal dose or 40 to 50 drops, and then fatal period is 3 to 4 hours, and then it has two actions. One is local and remote action. Local has a mild corrosive, and then it has an anesthetic action, and then on skin it easily penetrates and it coils to stomach. There can be tingling, and then we have anesthesia of a whole GIT tract up to the stomach, and then the lips, the mouth and tongue can be corroded. Swallowing and speech will become difficult, and then it is very painful, and vomiting may not occur due to this anesthetic action of the stomach. So these are some of the things where there is hot burning pain, difficulty in swallowing, difficulty in speech, painful swallowing and speech. There is corrosion of lips, mouth and tongue can be seen. What are the systemic symptoms? The victim feels giddy, and then temperature will become low, the skin becomes cold, the pulse becomes weak and thready, pupils are contracted and then pinpoint, and then we can know what are the other poisons that cause pinpoint pupils. When we know that organophosphorus poisons, they cause pinpoint pupils. So another poison that will cause pinpoint pupil is carbolic acid. And then the nephrotoxic actions, nephrotoxic nature of the carboluria or of the carbolic acid can be seen, where the patient will experience oliguria, where decreased urination can be seen, and then we can see a typical feature of seen in carbolic acid poisoning known as carboluria. Carboluria means the carbolic acid is converted into metabolic products like hydroquinone and pyrocatechol. So hydroquinone and pyrocatechol are the metabolic products of breakdown of phenol or carbolic acid. And these, because of these products, hydroquinone and pyrocatechol, the urine is greenish in color, and then upon staying for a while, it will turns into black. So this phenomena is known as carboluria. So carboluria is a phenomena in which the urine passed by the patient who is taken carbolic acid or carbolic acid poisoning. There will be green colored urine, and then it will, upon staying for a long time, it will turn into black color, and this green color turning into black color, or for that sake green color itself is due to the metabolic products of carbolic acid such as hydroquinone and question. So what is the treatment? Thorough glycol can be used. So when ingested, gastric lavage can be gastric lavage. So in carbolic acid, we can do a gastric lavage. So, and also with the activated charcoal, we can do gastric lavage with warm water, normal water, or it can be due to, it can be also containing activated charcoal or olive oil or castor oil, or it can be magnesium and sodium sulfate. So after gastric lavage is complete, about 30 grams of magnesium sulfate or liquefied paraffin is left in the stomach, so that whatever further unabsorbed or unremoved carbolic acid or phenol is present in stomach can be taken care by this magnesium sulfate and then liquid paraffin, so that further absorption into the stomach wall will be prevented. So demulcents like egg white and white milk can be taken, and then we can do forced diuresis by saline or with sodium bicarbonate solution. So it also combats circulatory depression and then dilutes phenol. Suppose if the phenol absorption has taken place and it has mixed with the blood, then in order to dilute that, we can do this forced diuresis by saline and sodium bicarbonate. And finally, hemodialysis if suppose renal failure occurs. So these are some of the there will be soddened with small petechial submucosal hemorrhages, and tongue is white and swollen. So there can be excoriations, and then corrosion of the mucous membranes of the mouth and lips can be found in case of external findings. Internal findings, the mucosa of esophagus again can be corrugated. The stomach mucosa is thickened, swollen, leathery like, and it is covered by opaque coagulated gray-brown mucous membrane, and the stomach contains the smell of phenol can be there. So it is also an opaque layer can be formed, a leathery, it will form a thick leathery like structure is formed inside the stomach because of the reaction of the stomach with the phenol. And then the liver and spleen will show white patches where stomach was in contact with the liver, and then we can see in kidneys hemorrhagic nephritis can be there, and brain will show some of the changes of congestion and edematous. So these are some of the things. So mucosa of the esophagus will be corrosive, corrugated, stomach there can be leathery like. Liver and spleen, white patches can be there, which is in contact with the stomach. Kidneys, we have hemorrhagic nephritis. Brain, congested edematous. Carbolic acid, what is the medical legal importance? To air or oxidized, resulting into dark smoky green color. So this is the reason why. So sometimes some textbooks given that normally it will be light color or light greenish in color, or sometimes it can be a thick green color, and then upon standing the urine, it will become dark, and which is a smoky type. So that is also called carburia. And then we have one more entity called ochronosis. Ochronosis or phenol marasmus, where it is seen by hospital staff like surgeons, nurses, who use it as a disinfectant. So because of the chronic exposure of this phenol, they can have some entity called phenol marasmus, otherwise called as ochronosis, where there are few symptoms like skin pigmentation can be there, vertigo, there is reeling of head, then headache, anorexia, and then weight loss can be there. So these are some of the symptoms of phenol marasmus. We read about Maras and Kwashiorkor. So they are nothing but protein allergy, malnutrition. So the people who are working with this prolonged chronic exposure, mostly the hospital staff, because the exposure, they will have some kind of giddiness, and then anorexia. Thereby, they are not properly taking the diet, and then they will have this problem. Organic acid corrodes the. There will be color printing can be there on the clothes. So this color printing on the clothes and the fabric and textile industry is nothing but calico printing. So oxalic acid is used in this calico printing. And then another important aspect of oxalic acid is it is used for removing writing signatures illegally. So in order to misplace or in order to do any fraud, so if you want to remove a signature or removing a rating, then oxalic acid can be used. So, and also it can be used to remove stains and clean brass and copper articles. Fatal dose 10 to 50 grams. Fatal period 1 to 2 hours. And then the signs and symptoms will include fulminant poisoning, acute poisoning, and chronic poisoning. Fulminant poisoning, immediate symptoms and death occurs within minutes. In fulminant poisoning is where a large quantity has been taken, or a small quantity of if a child is taken. So whatever, based on the fatal dose in relation to the body weight. So immediate in this fulminant poisoning, immediate symptoms will occur and death will occur within minutes. The symptoms are: there is a bitter taste in the mouth, there is burning pain in the mouth till stomach with a sense of constriction around the throat, there is abdominal pain which begins at epigastrium and then radiates to all over the abdomen. There can be nausea, there can be vomiting, and then this vomitus contains altered blood and mucus, which is called coffee ground appearance. Coffee ground appearance is the appearance to which the vomitus is mixed with the blood and then mucus. So coffee ground vomitus, appearance of vomitus can be seen in oxalic acid poisoning. Acute poisoning, a patient in acute poisoning, the patient can survive for a few hours. In case of fulminant poisoning, the patient will die within minutes. And then here the main symptom is hypocalcemia, because the calcium levels in the blood will be low, because the oxalic acid combines with the serum calcium in the blood, forming insoluble calcium oxalate. And then because of the hypocalcemia, the patient will have muscle irritability, the patient can have tetany. Tetany means continuous contractions of the muscles, and then the person can have convulsions. So there can be numbness and tingling at the fingertips, and then there can be signs of cardiovascular collapse. So acute poisoning, we have mainly symptoms of hypocalcemia. There is low calcium because oxalic acid combines with calcium to form insoluble calcium oxalate, and because of this hypocalcemia, the patient will experience the muscle irritability, tetany, and convulsions. What are the symptoms of delayed poisoning? Here the symptoms of uremia are prevalent, and then are present as oxalic acid produce tubular necrosis. So urine is scanty and may contain traces of blood, albumin, and calcium oxalate crystals. So in fulminant poisoning, you can see the coffee ground appearance, vomiting is the main thing, burning is the main thing, and then bitter taste is the main thing, where the person will immediately die within minutes, and the fatal dose is 10 to 50 grams. Fatal period is 1 to 2 hours. Very, very important. Within 1 to 2 hours, the patient will die. Acute poisoning, there will be symptoms of hypocalcemia, and then in delayed poisoning, there are symptoms of uremia. So what is the treatment? Again, the same. We'll have gastric lavage with lime water, and then the antidote is any calcium preparation like chalk. So this converts acid into insoluble calcium oxalates, and 30 grams of chalk is water neutralizes about 20 grams of oxalic acid. This is the dosage given. So because oxalic acid we have to neutralize, so we are giving it with the calcium preparations which form an insoluble calcium oxalates, and then they are driven away by defecation. So what is the dosage? About 30 grams of chalk in water, it will neutralize about 20 grams of oxalic acid. So we can also give IV 10% calcium gluconate. Suppose if there is kidney failure, we can do dialysis, and then parathyroid extracts in severe cases is also one of the modality of treatment. So stomach wash, calcium preparation, which is used as an antidote, and then IV calcium gluconate, dialysis. What are the autopsy findings? Mucosa members were all white and scalded appearance. So mucous membranes of the mouth, tongue, and pharynx are whitened, and then because these whitened nature is because of the bleaching nature. I told you oxalic acid is used as a bleaching thing, and also in calico printing, and also it is used for removing the names on the letters. So it will bleach. So the mouth, the mucous membranes also bleached. Because of the bleaching nature, it becomes whitened. The stomach mucous membrane is reddened, and then black, sometimes also black because of the blood, and then corroded. It can show punctate erosions. Perforations are very rare. They are more common with hydrochloric sulfuric acid. Stomach contents are brownish due to acid hematin, and then intestines normally they will escape, they will not go further beyond nothing. So kidneys are swollen, congested, and edematous, and then there can be tubular necrosis which are filled with oxalate crystals. So these are some of the autopsy findings of oxalic acid, where The mucous membranes are whitened and scalded appearance. There can perforations are rare. There can be punctate erosions can be seen, and then stomach contents are brownish due to acid hematin, and then the kidneys show congestion, and then edematous. There can be tubular necrosis. What is the medical legal importance? It is a suicidal poisoning most of the time. Homicidal poisoning is very rare because we cannot pour oxalic acid in a glass and give it to somebody else to drink it. Definitely, it is very unlikely. And accidental poisoning will always be there as it resembles magnesium sulfate or sodium bicarbonate. So accidental poisoning is there. So can be there, and homicidal is very rare. So that's all. So we will close this session. Thank you for joining. So this will complete the corrosive poisons. In the next class, we will look into another classification of poisons. So thank you for joining, and then keep reading, keep studying, keep learning, and keep acquiring knowledge. Thank you very much.